The main strategies for towers 11 through 20 are number 1 to pray at the altar for offense 2 times, defense 1 time, and to buy a red key to fight the final boss for 800 gold. We're coming up on our altar, and this is the first time we prayed. So that brings our stats to 38 offense, 38 defense. We're going to come back down and grab some keys to get us on our way to our first objective, which is the sword. The reason for praying for defense once is it's going to set us at a nice 40 defense to 60 defense once we get that shield, which is allowed to clear the skeleton mobs from floors 1 through 10 without taking any damage. The reason we pray for offense twice is because we're gonna grab all the red crystals that are available without taking too much damage, and that's gonna allow us to hit those rocks to get to the final boss. So here's a little secret on the lower left. That wall collapses so we can grab some crystals for very cheap. And getting that red crystal to set us at offense 40 is allow us to attack these gatekeepers and kill them in one less hit. Once we get the sword, we're going to go back down directly for that shield. And that'll set our defense to 60. On the way, this merchant's selling a blue key for 200 gold, which we'll use later. Once we get the shield, the 60 defense means the skeletons won't hit us for any damage, and we're going to go all the way down through the 10th floor to the first floor. And our objective is to get gold from these creatures by killing them, but more importantly is to get the orb of flying, which will allow us to move quickly through the floors. Instead of having to walk, you can teleport to any floor that you've already been to. On the top left, it's a nice pickup for an extra key, which actually will be important. We will be using that key. And then down to the bottom right here on this floor is a blue key to be had. So all these battles cost us no damage, which is very nice, that we can pick up items for free. All this gold is getting us toward the goal of 800 gold so that we can pay a merchant for a red key. So on the bottom left is that orb of flying. It will have strategic uses later on too. It will allow us to teleport between floors that we've been to but we don't want to walk through because there still might be dangerous monsters in the way. So now we zoom all the way back up, and our objective now, since we already have the sword and shield, is to collect crystals. We're going to go for the blue crystal here first because it's going to cost us the least health. And getting red crystals is not advantageous to attacking any of these creatures that we'll be fighting right away. Attacking for 2 more damage won't allow us to hit them, kill them in one less hit, so Getting that blue is better because we'll be reducing the damage on hits that they deal to us. So we get 2 blue crystals, and then now we're going to get a red crystal, which will allow us to kill a zombie knight in 1 less hit. So once we get that, we're going to move up to the highest floor and continue on our way. Taking the left path here is going to save us a blue key, although that zombie knight is going to hit us for a lot of damage. Collect a bunch of keys from the priest so we can get on our way through this room, which has a lot of doors. And we're going to go all the way up to the top floor because there's a room with a blue and a red crystal that we can access with a blue key. Our health is getting pretty low, but we can just survive. I would say that this blue and red crystal accessed by that blue key is the first payoff of the first 10 floors where we conserved blue keys. So now at floor 12 we go in for that red crystal, and it's important that we take this one because it has that big health potion in the middle, which we really need to keep going and fighting monsters, and it has 2 yellow keys, which we also really need to access more rooms. Getting that red crystal to set our offense at 64 allowed us to hit the priests for 1 less, kill them in 1 less hit. And getting the offense to 68 allows us to kill bats in 1 hit so that we don't take any damage. The slimes don't do any damage since we've got that shield. And we killed those rooms just to farm up enough gold for that 800 red key. This is the final red crystal that we'll be getting, and it's in order to fight the rocks in this room. The rocks have 68 defense, so if we don't have offense above that, we would lose the fight, but we wouldn't even be able to attack them. Getting that 1 red crystal to set us at 70 offense is what's going to allow us to access the room with the rocks. And we're running low on keys, so I'm going to come down here and clear all the bats to get some keys. Now we're going to look for a blue key, and this zombie here is going to be the cheapest way we can get it. I would have thought the priest would deal less damage, but it turns out the zombie hits for 1 less damage than the priest. So now we're getting health in preparation for the boss fight. This merchant is the one that sells the red key to give us access to the boss. And before we fight him, there's one more important major item that we need to get. In the room with the rocks and the cross shape is a secret item which will allow us to attack zombies and vampires for twice our offense. Instead of dealing 70 damage, we deal 140. And we're really going to need that for the boss fight because the boss is a vampire. So with the blue key, we're going to come in and fight that rock. At 70 offense, we can just barely hit it enough to kill it. And then here's the secret. In the center of a cross is the cross item that doubles our attack versus vampires and zombies. Now we're all set to enter the boss fight. So the health and the attack and defense of the vampire is kind of secret, since he doesn't merge until you actually enter the room. But that cross allowed us to win the fight, which otherwise would have been very, very difficult. And we just get by with enough life to make it. And so we've saved a lot of health by getting that red key from the merchant. And we've used all our blue keys, which we saved up from the first 10 floors. And we only prayed 3 times in these floors, so it's going to help us out on the next floors and fighting harder monsters.